Imagine a remote, uncharted island in the North Atlantic, shrouded in mystery and untouched by human hands. This mystical land of fire and ice boasts a history as captivating as its dramatic landscapes. It wasn't until the late 9th century AD that daring explorers, driven by curiosity and the promise of new horizons, set foot on its volcanic shores. These fearless settlers laid the foundations of a unique and fiercely resilient society, marked by epic sagas, enduring traditions, and a remarkable journey from an isolated colony to a modern nation. Dive into a profound history, where each chapter is filled with tales of exploration, survival, and extraordinary transformation. Here are 15 fascinating facts about the history of Iceland. Fact number 1. In the late 9th century, Norse chieftain Ingólfur Arnarson led the first settlers to Iceland's shores. Iceland was among the last major islands in the world to be settled by humans. The first permanent settlers arrived in the late 9th century, led by Norse chieftain Ingólfur Arnarson. According to tradition, Ingólfur threw his high seat pillars into the sea upon sighting Iceland, pledging to settle wherever they washed ashore. This led him to the area of present-day Reykjavik, where he established the first permanent settlement around 874 AD. Early settlers faced harsh conditions, but were drawn by the island's abundant resources and potential for farming and fishing. These settlers were primarily from Norway, but many also came from other Scandinavian regions and the British Isles. They brought with them their language, culture, and traditions, which laid the foundation for Icelandic society. The settlers organized themselves into a chieftain-led system, forming the early political and social structures that would shape Iceland's development over the centuries. Fact number 2. The Icelandic Althing is the world's oldest parliament, showcasing Iceland's deep democratic roots. The Icelandic Althing, established in 930 AD, is the world's oldest surviving parliamentary institution. It was founded at Þingvellir, a natural assembly site where chieftains and their followers gathered annually to discuss laws, settle disputes, and make important decisions. The Althing was a combination of legislative and judicial authority, demonstrating an advanced level of self-governance for its time. This assembly provided a forum for chieftains to maintain peace and order in a decentralized society. The Althing met at Þingvellir until 1798, after which it was temporarily discontinued due to Danish influence. Despite this interruption, the tradition of the Althing persisted, and it was revived in Reykjavik in 1845. Today, the Althing stands as a symbol of Icelandic democracy and independence, having evolved into a modern parliamentary system while maintaining its historical roots. Fact number 3. Icelandic Vikings, including Leif Erikson, reached North America around 1000 AD, long before Columbus. According to the Vinland Sagas, Icelandic Vikings were among the first Europeans to land in North America around the year 1000 AD. Leif Erikson, son of the famous Viking Eric the Red, is credited with leading an expedition that discovered Vinland, believed to be part of modern-day Newfoundland. This discovery predates Christopher Columbus's voyage by nearly 500 years. The sagas describe Vinland as a land of abundant resources, including grapes and timber, which were scarce in Iceland. While the Viking settlement in North America was short-lived, these voyages demonstrated the exceptional seafaring skills of the Norse explorers. The tales of Vinland became an integral part of Icelandic and Norse folklore, illustrating the adventurous spirit and far-reaching impact of the Viking Age. This period marked a significant chapter in Icelandic history, highlighting the exploration and expansion of the Norse people beyond Europe. While the Viking settlement in North America was short-lived, these voyages demonstrated the exceptional seafaring skills of the Norse explorers. The tales of Vinland became an integral part of Icelandic and Norse folklore, illustrating the adventurous spirit and far-reaching impact of the Viking Age. Fact number 4. In 1000 AD, Iceland adopted Christianity with a unique condition to ensure peace and harmony. In the year 1000 AD, Iceland officially adopted Christianity through a unique and peaceful process at the Althing, the nation's legislative assembly. Faced with potential civil conflict between the pagan and Christian factions, the law speaker, Thorgeir Ljósvetningagodi, proposed a pragmatic solution. He suggested that Iceland convert to Christianity while allowing private pagan worship to continue. This compromise was accepted by the assembly, ensuring a smooth transition to the new faith. The decision to adopt Christianity without bloodshed was a significant milestone in Icelandic history. It demonstrated the country's capacity for negotiation and tolerance, setting a precedent for religious harmony. This event not only unified the nation under a single religion, but also strengthened Iceland's cultural and political ties with the rest of Christian Europe. The peaceful conversion remains a notable example of conflict resolution and pragmatic leadership in Iceland's history. Fact number 5. The 13th century Icelandic sagas recount epic tales of Norse heroism, adventure, and daily life. The Icelandic sagas written in the 13th century are epic narratives that provide a detailed history of Iceland's early settlers and their descendants. These sagas blend myth, history, and legend, offering unique insights into the lives, struggles, and values of the Norse people. Written in Old Norse, they include family sagas, kings' sagas, and legendary sagas, each contributing to the rich tapestry of Icelandic literary heritage. They cover a wide range of themes, from heroism and vengeance to love and lore. The sagas are considered some of the finest examples of medieval European literature. They have been studied extensively for their historical content and literary artistry. These works not only preserve the memory of Iceland's early history, but also reflect the societal norms and legal principles of the time. The sagas continue to be a source of national pride and cultural identity for Icelanders. Fact number 6. The 1783 Laki eruption caused widespread famine and the death of a quarter of Iceland's population. The eruption of the Laki volcano between 1783 to 1784 was one of the most catastrophic events in Icelandic history. The eruption lasted for 8 months, releasing massive amounts of lava and toxic gases into the atmosphere. The resulting ash cloud led to a volcanic winter, causing widespread crop failures and severe famine. Approximately a quarter of Iceland's population perished due to the ensuing starvation and related diseases. The Laki eruption also had far-reaching effects, impacting climate and agriculture across Europe and beyond. This disaster highlighted the volatile nature of Iceland's geological landscape. The country, situated on the mid-Atlantic ridge, experiences frequent volcanic activity and earthquakes. Despite the devastation, Icelanders demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability. The Laki eruption, while tragic, underscored the importance of understanding and preparing for natural disasters in a land shaped by powerful geological forces. Fact number 7. From 1814, Iceland was under Danish rule, experiencing periods of alliance and conflict. Iceland became part of the Kingdom of Denmark-Norway in 1814 following the Treaty of Kiel, which ended Danish-Norwegian Union. This transition marked the beginning of over a century of Danish influence over Iceland. Under Danish rule, Iceland retained a degree of autonomy, but was largely governed by Danish officials. The relationship was complex, with periods of cooperation and tension. Danish rule brought certain administrative and infrastructural changes, but Icelandic culture and language remained resiliently independent. Despite being under Danish rule, Iceland maintained its distinct identity. The 19th century saw a burgeoning national consciousness, with Icelanders increasingly advocating for greater self-determination. This period laid the groundwork for the eventual movement toward independence. Key figures in Icelandic history, such as Jón Sigurdsson, emerged during this time, championing the cause of Icelandic independence and contributing to the development of a national identity distinct from Denmark. Fact number 8. In 1904, Iceland gained home rule from Denmark, setting the stage for modern self-governance. In 1904, Iceland was granted home rule by Denmark, marking a significant step toward full independence. This change allowed Iceland to self-govern while remaining under Danish sovereignty. The appointment of Hannes Hafstein as the first minister for Iceland signaled a new era of autonomy. This period saw the establishment of local institutions and infrastructure, laying the groundwork for a modern Icelandic state. Home rule brought about significant political and economic reforms, fostering a sense of national pride and identity. The move towards greater self-governance was driven by Icelandic nationalists who had long advocated for more autonomy. This period of home rule was characterized by increased political activity and the formation of various political parties. It also saw improvements in education, transportation, and communication, contributing to Iceland's development. Fact number 9. During the 20th century, Iceland experienced a period when alcoholic beverages were outlawed. From 1915 to 1935, Iceland experienced a period of prohibition, banning all alcoholic beverages. Initially, the ban included all forms of alcohol, reflecting the country's temperance movement's influence. However, economic pressures led to a partial lift in 1922, allowing the importation of Spanish and Portuguese wines to maintain trade relations. Despite this relaxation, beer with an alcohol content of more than 2.25% remained prohibited. In 1935, the prohibition on spirits was lifted, but the beer ban persisted until 1989, making it one of the longest beer prohibitions in history. The prolonged prohibition era highlights Iceland's unique approach to alcohol regulation and its impact on social and economic policies. Today, the lifting of the beer ban on March 1, 1989, is celebrated annually as Beer Day, reflecting the significant cultural shift and the end of an unusual chapter in Icelandic history. Fact number 10. Iceland formally declared itself a republic in 1944, finally achieving full independence. Iceland declared itself a republic on June 17, 1944, during World War II, while Denmark was still occupied by Nazi Germany. This historic event took place at Þingvellir, the traditional site of the Althing, symbolizing the continuity of Iceland's democratic traditions. The move to independence was overwhelmingly supported by a national referendum. Svein Björnsson, who had served as regent during the transitional period, became the country's first president. Independence marked the culmination of a long struggle for self-determination. Iceland's strategic location in the North Atlantic made it a significant player during the war, particularly for the Allies. The declaration of the Republic was a defining moment, allowing Iceland to fully control its domestic and foreign affairs. Since then, Iceland has developed into a modern, prosperous nation with a strong emphasis on democracy and human rights. Fact number 11. Between the 1950s and 1970s, Iceland fiercely defended its fishing rights against the UK. Iceland engaged in a series of confrontations with the United Kingdom known as the Cod Wars over fishing rights in the North Atlantic. These disputes arose from Iceland's extension of its fishing limits from 4 to 12 nautical miles in 1958, then to 50 miles in 1972, and finally to 200 miles in 1975. The Cod Wars were marked by aggressive encounters between Icelandic patrol boats and British trawlers, with both sides deploying naval vessels to protect their interests. The Cod Wars were driven by Iceland's reliance on fishing as a cornerstone of its economy. Securing exclusive fishing rights was crucial for the nation's economic survival and growth. Despite the tensions, the Cod Wars ended without any fatalities. Iceland's eventual success in expanding its fishing limits had a profound impact, setting a precedent for the establishment of exclusive economic zones under international law, significantly influencing maritime policy worldwide. Fact number 12. Since 1969, Iceland has been a leader in geothermal energy, utilizing its volcanic landscape. Iceland pioneered the use of geothermal energy, with the first geothermal power plant opening in 1969, making it a leader in renewable energy today. Iceland's unique geological features, including abundant volcanic activity and geothermal springs, provide an excellent source of sustainable energy. The development of geothermal energy has significantly reduced Iceland's reliance on fossil fuels, contributing to the country's goal of achieving energy independence and sustainability. The utilization of geothermal energy has had far-reaching benefits for Iceland. It powers nearly all of the country's electricity and heating needs, supporting both residential and industrial applications. Iceland's expertise in geothermal technology has also become an export commodity, with Icelandic companies and experts assisting other countries in developing their geothermal resources. This pioneering spirit in renewable energy reflects Iceland's commitment to environmental stewardship and innovation. Fact number 13. In 1980, Iceland elected Vigdís Finnbogadóttir, the world's first female president. In 1980, Iceland made history by electing Vigdís Finnbogadóttir as the world's first democratically elected female president. Her presidency, which lasted 4 terms until 1996, was marked by a strong emphasis on promoting Icelandic culture and education. Vigdís was a passionate advocate for the arts and the preservation of Iceland's linguistic heritage. Her leadership significantly boosted Iceland's cultural profile internationally. Vigdís's tenure was notable for her efforts to support and enhance the educational system in Iceland. She played a pivotal role in fostering cultural ties between Iceland and other nations. Even after her presidency, Vigdís remained a prominent figure, continuing to champion cultural and educational causes. Her legacy includes the Vigdís International Center for Multilingualism and Intercultural Understanding, which promotes linguistic and cultural diversity worldwide. Fact number 14. The 2008 financial crisis devastated Iceland, but its recovery showcased national resilience. In 2008, Iceland suffered a severe economic crisis with the collapse of its 3 major banks, Glitnir, Landsbanki, and Kaupthing. This financial meltdown was one of the most dramatic in history, leading to a sharp contraction in the economy and significant social upheaval. The crisis was precipitated by excessive borrowing and risky investments, exposing the vulnerabilities of the financial system. The Icelandic krona plummeted, and many citizens lost their savings and jobs. In response to the crisis, Iceland implemented comprehensive financial restructuring and reforms. The government took unprecedented steps, including the nationalization of banks and strict capital controls. Despite the initial hardships, these measures helped stabilize the economy. Iceland's recovery was aided by a resilient tourism sector and strong natural resource industries. Fact number 15. The Icelandic language has remained virtually unchanged since the Viking Age. Icelandic has changed very little since the Viking Age, and modern Icelanders can still read classic texts from over 1,000 years ago with ease. This remarkable linguistic continuity is a testament to Iceland's dedication to preserving its language and cultural heritage. Efforts to maintain the purity of the Icelandic language have been rigorous, with the creation of new Icelandic words for modern concepts rather than borrowing from other languages. The preservation of Icelandic is supported by institutions like the Árni Magnússon Institute for Icelandic Studies, which plays a crucial role in linguistic research and education. Icelandic literature, from the medieval sagas to contemporary works, continues to be a vibrant part of the nation's cultural identity. The language is a source of national pride, connecting Icelanders to their rich history and ensuring that the voices of the past remain accessible to future generations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more fascinating facts and untold history.